Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Spotlight, which is brought to you by the Georgetown branch, number 5520, where we are here to educate, motivate, and activate. Before we even get started, please make sure that you go ahead and like us, share so people know exactly what's going on in the community. And this morning, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into it. We have some topics to talk about: comprehensive land use, school board election, anti-Semitism, and housing and rental assistance. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on my co-host, First VP, Mr. Deontay Winchester. Good morning.
Good morning, sis. How you feeling today?
I feel pretty good. Thank you. Let me get Mr. Neal, our president of this branch. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Ebony. Just on the road again.
On the road again. We are so happy to have you here, all three of you, everybody who's watching us. Again, thank you for joining us. Give us a thumbs up so people can see what we're talking about, because it's really important and what's going on. And we have a couple of topics to talk about today. And Mr. Neal, I realize that you're on the road, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the first topic right now, which is the comprehensive land use. What does the community need to understand and know about that?
Well, one thing that they need to understand, Ebony, is that the comprehensive land use is a plan
in half of a mile,
for
left
the next
turn onto
for the next 20
Gravel
years.
Road.
You know, and that plan, what it does, it gives the community, it controls the growth that's measurable to the community and to the area that it pertains to. Now, that land use map, it comes with an ordinance based on the zoning and stuff, and what can and what should and should not come to your area. There are exceptions at times that goes in front of the planning commission and the county council, but rarely those exceptions are taken into play, because, you know, when a plan is in place, it's there to control growth. And if you haven't noticed, there's so much growth coming to the area. You know, it's creating a lot of problems. You know, and where the growth needs to be, we have challenged with affordable housing in those growth. So we have some situations here. We just got to learn how to balance out, at least with some inclusionary zoning. You know, where you can or mixed use. So everyone can have a piece of the pie, not just one segment of the population. You know, the have or the have-nots. We don't need to create that. We need to make sure that there's a piece of the pie for everyone, for the minimum income to the highest income.
Are there any meetings going on about the comprehensive land use? How can people dive into this and get more involved or educated about it so they can understand it?
Well, right now it's at the planning commission, and I'm thinking at the next county council meeting it should be on the table. You know, they still have some work to do. I spoke with the planning director, and there's some work to be done with that. And but what I understand from the last 51 units,
0.8 of a mile to Lee Road.
That was supposed to happen in the Parkersville area. There are some challenges there, because what the people are saying, that the comprehensive plan have not been updated to the point where they're trying to bring in 51 units there on Parkersville, which creating some pushback from the community there. And it should get pushed back, because things need to be in place for those purposes, so communities won't get outgrown and
in half of a mile,
gentrified.
Left turn onto Lee Road.
So
right.
That's where we are.
So with the comprehensive land use, I know that there's some other things that go along with it, where they're wanting to halt growth in one area and possibly start growth in another area, which of course is going to affect those individuals, because we see taxes, utilities, all of these things are increasing, because, you know, we talked last week about people, although these things are increasing, their living wage is not increasing at the same time to be able to support the type of growth that is happening in the community.
Next left and then right turn.
When it comes down, go ahead.
And you're right, Ebony. Go ahead and finish off your statement.
That was pretty much it. All of this goes hand in hand, and we're talking about comprehensive land use. And of course, I know that we will bring more information about it in the coming weeks, so that the public will know what's going on. But talking about how it's affecting housing. We currently have an affordable housing situation where the very people that work and live here cannot afford to live in the area. So can you talk can the both of you talk about that? And Deontay, I want you to jump in on what it does to people not having a living wage to support. They're working. We're
Next right,
getting
and then your destination is ahead.
rental assistance right now, and we've helped hundreds of people,
Your
hundreds of
destination is ahead.
with affordable housing. And the one thing I've noticed is that I want people to stop saying that they're not working. People are coming in working, but even with 2-3 jobs, some of them still just are barely hanging on trying to afford housing.
Yeah, you working 2, 3 jobs just to try to support yourself and your family. It makes life very difficult for you. And this notion that individuals don't want to work and people are just looking for a handout is just preposterous to me, because what we find, and it's supported by data, is that individuals want to work, and they take pride in working and supporting themselves, but the jobs that they have access to just will not provide them the means to take care of their daily living needs. So what does that tell us? It tells us as a community and as a nation at large, we need to do better to support the people. And not only that, when individuals are living below the poverty line, outcomes in almost every area of life are substantially more negative. Your health decreases, your mental health decreases. Every area of your life gets more negative because you do not have the means to provide for yourself and your family. So let's stop all of this. Oh, people don't like to work. People don't want to work. Certain segments of the population just are lazy and all of this, that, and the third. Not the case. Not the case at all. Because when individuals are able to maintain a living wage with just one career that'll give them that proper salary, they do that job, they come home, they take care of their families, they're able to look after themselves with self-care, they're able to do everything that they need to do to maintain themselves, and everything is better as a whole.
That's right. And you hit it dead on the nail, Deontay. When you start talking about people working 2 and 3 jobs, if they're working that many jobs just to make ends meet, then who's watching the children?
Yes.
Then
How they
people,
helping with homework if
how,
when they get home all they can do is go to sleep for 2 hours and start over and do it again?
right? Being engaged with activities at the school and different things of that nature. It's all connected. I like how our other co-host and second VP Marilyn Hemingway, she says it, and I love the way she articulates that this is all connected. Housing, the comprehensive land use, the housing, all of this is affected through living wage, and the only way to create equality is through equity. People have to understand that. That's what brings, that's what the level playing field would be in all of this, is giving people a living wage. And when you talk about the NAACP was instrumental in getting our bus drivers and our custodians to increase the minimum wage. They deserve that. They work hard. Can y'all speak on that, please?
And Deontay talked about it, Ebony. And one of our discussions at the school board meeting is you had people leaving one job to go to another job in order to make a living. You see what I'm saying? And everything becomes an ill to the other. Like Deontay said, what happens to the children with homework when she goes to the other job? This is why children is in the streets, because no one is home. You know, this is how things get That's how the have and the have not is created. This how gentrification is created. Because if we did not push, and still it's not enough, but it's more than that what they were getting, because the study that came up during that time, the living wage where we are right now is $16.54 an hour. So it still tells us we have work to do. But when you have people with the mindset that they just they're just lazy, maybe they need to sit in some of these rental assistant that we have going on right now with the NAACP, and recognize that these are working people walking through the door, trying to get assistance with rental, trying to get assistance with utilities. I mean, it just keeps going on and on.
Transportation.
Transportation, you know, don't have people to transport their children to the hospital because they're at work. And these are situations that just consistently debilitates the environment and the atmosphere that we live in. You know, so that's why it's so important that these meetings are important, that the comprehensive plan and understanding what's going on, and not listening to folks like Bob Anderson when he wants to retain 50% of the building space in one segment of the population, what I'm saying, but let it overgrow in the other side of the population, which is the west end of Georgetown. See, those are the things that we really have to pay attention to, because if you're not careful, that could happen. Because we have foolish councilmen, even on the west end of Georgetown, that have voted on foolishness of that nature against affordable housing, and that might vote on something like that.
And
You
that's
know,
true. That
so
that's true.
that's why you have to make sure election has consequences, and those are the consequences of election.
Well,
You
so
know,
we're definitely going to dive into elections because we have elections that are coming up. But for those of you who are watching, please chime in. Do you I would like for you all to post if you or somebody who you know has had issues with housing, affordable housing, transportation, utilities. Just say yes. Put yes in the comment section. If it's not you, I'm pretty sure that you know of someone who it has impacted. Thank you so much for chiming in, Bishop Moultrie, who's doing an excellent
And
job in the community.
also, I think there's such a stigma attached to affordable housing. First of all, when we say affordable housing, we're not talking about um uh particularly section 8, or um individuals who are completely low income. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about housing that is based on your income level. So when you have individuals like the sheriff reported that individuals cannot afford to work in Georgetown County and to live in Georgetown County. So that's why he's having difficulties retaining law enforcement officers. So you're telling me that a law enforcement officer isn't good enough to have affordable housing in Georgetown County? It's everyone. It's not just those that are low income. It affects everyone. So
Where
let's
all
get this out of our mind with this whole is gonna bring the community down and there's gonna be more crime and all of this, that, and the third. That's garbage.
it is, all the what is it, blue power people? You don't hear none of them speaking up, only when it's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But let's
you know,
talk about, go ahead, Mr. Neal.
but and Sheriff Weaver did a great job with that, because it made sense. And also, you had a young lady, Miss Morocco, at the Environmental Services, that addressed the council also. And she worked for Georgetown County Council on the condition of the employees that works under her and how they were being affected. And I used to always wonder why these sheriff cars are parked at people's home, and I come down 701 in Johanna and all these places. I used to think, man, these people just taking advantage of our tax money, not knowing that that's a part of the deal, so they could at least continue to serve in Georgetown County, and that's the only means they can make it affordable.
Wow.
But yet still you have someone, six-figure job working at the school district, driving a car a mile from the house, parking it at the fire station, 1 mile from the house, six-figure jobs, double retirement done tarried and everything. See, those are the things that gets our attention, how taxpayers' dollars being taken advantage of. You see what I'm saying? So we have to make sure we balance this thing on both ends. Because when it comes down to people taking advantage of our tax dollars, we need to speak loud on that and address it. And the school district need to take charge of that and make something happen about that. Because it's sad. And that's our at risk and safety person there that's
Right.
doing this. But if we say nothing, then nothing happens. Nothing happens. Silence gives consent of what's going on at the time. The ills. So
That's exactly right, Mr. Neal. And let us stop for just one moment and just give a announcement. We're doing rental assistance right now. If you know of anyone that needs it, the hours for counselors are available from Wednesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2:30. They accept the last person at 2:30. You must park in public parking and come on round to the back, and there will be individuals there. If you want to volunteer, please let us know. Send us a message on our website or on Facebook to let us know that you want to volunteer to help individuals with housing. And with that, we're also helping people with other social services whenever they do come in, um, such as Medicaid, food stamps, things of that nature. We're getting calls from everywhere that you can think of, people that just need transportation to get radiation, treatment for cancer and things of that nature. I mean, all of this is connected. So definitely reach out to us, tell other people about it, because the resources is there for help. And this is really, Mr. Neal, is a band-aid on the problem. The whole thing is that a living wage needs to be raised, but in the meantime, we're going to help people get the services that they can get to help improve their quality of life.
and Evan, if you think about it, this is the impact of election consequences. Because if this was another president, the last president, this money would not be available. This would not be available. So we have to be careful how we talk about things and how we look at it. Because and it's not only that we are doing rental assistance. Rental assistance is only the it's another entity of what we are doing, but we are also doing helping folks that's being evicted from their homes, whether it's mortgage, rental, or what. We're helping folks that are being evicted, and we are giving services and help them find services to help avoid that. We are working with the different government agency in the county and stuff just to help them find services. And so that's what the key factor that we are doing. We help with all housing assistance, long as you are behind on rent, electricity, or being evicted, or just need a place to stay, homeless. You talking about victims of sexual abuse and victims of domestic abuse. All these things are a part of what we are doing. So whatever it is, if it's an ill that's affecting you, come and see us, and we can help you deal with it. Housing assistance is the extension, but it's emergency housing assistance what we are doing, not just rental. So I just wanted to make that clear, because a lot of people say, well, we're just doing rent. No, we're doing help with eviction, mortgages, and stuff of that nature, because people are getting a lot of bad information on evictions. Some of these landlords are walking up to tenants and say, you got 24 hours to be out of the house. And we tell them, no, that's not the way it works. We tell them, you need to go to the magistrate office and file a complaint, because they can't do that. And make sure you get clarity on what your rights are when it comes to that. And that's what we are there for, to help them get that clarity. So let's make sure we even helping folks with Pampers and stuff of that nature through Seventh Dimension, the different entity of SNAPs and Medicare and Medicaid. That's what we are doing also. All of those are part of the services that we are providing right now in the different areas of Georgetown and Williamsburg County and across South Carolina. That's what we are doing right now. So, and right now we at the Seventh Dimension office on 1001 Front Street. Park at the front and walk around the back and go downstairs. and you can get assistance up until 2:30 today. Up until 2:30 today. So keep that in mind. And we'll put out the other schedule. Go to our page or check out our Facebook page and see what the next schedule is where we come. We're trying to do the service up until December of this year. So keep us in mind before you walk out the door in the cold or walk out the door in the heat.
Mr. Neal, I just want to be clear what we mean when we say a living wage. Um, and we talked about this already, but MIT did a study. One of the most the school that produces some of the most brilliant minds in our country did a study recently of South Carolina and found that the living wage for one adult having no children would be $17.47. If
Correct.
you add one child to that mix, one child and one adult, it goes up to $31.93. Exponentially from there, where it increases the more you add children. So when we talk about why people are hurting, we're hurting because we don't have livable wages. And it
That is,
shows in all area of life.
that is so true. And just right in Georgetown, based on what we are working on right now, if your income is below $46,000 a year, we have to assist you because that's what it was based on. The county itself, not just one segment of the population, but the whole county. But when you go into the west side of Georgetown, you know, the livable wage, not the livable wage, but the income there, the median income is sitting right at between $24,000 and $30,000.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference. When you cross the bridge into Walkmore, you're looking at $50,000 plus. So when folks are, well, we're going to take your property and build it out to make it look like Walkmore, they're not just telling you they're going to take your property and build it out. They are also telling you they're going to push you out of your community with taxes and everything else. So we have to be careful with that and make sure that you pay your taxes and hold on to your property, because that's the key. Hold on to your property. When you go into these banks for loans and stuff of that nature, don't let them deny you based on skin tone, because a lot of that is going on. You have to look around the bank and see who's there. A lot of times, if somebody in there don't look like you, believe me, they don't serve people like you. And keep that in mind. Be careful where you put your money, because they're using your money to tell you get out.
Oh yeah. Recently, there was a video put out. Ryan Coogler, award-winning director and writer. He wrote Black Panther and produced it. Was in a bank, and I forget which bank it was, but they would not let him cash a check. Racial profiling. They thought that he was not a person who would have a check of that amount. So they called the police, had the man arrested and removed from their location. Ryan Coogler, the man who directed Black Panther, can't cash a check. So what'd that say about me?
They had Deontay right here in Georgetown, Andrews in Georgetown, you know, two upstanding black men. One works for IP, which they're pushing right at $70,000-$80,000 a year. Then the pastor in Andrews there, young pastor, walked into this bank, didn't even look at the application, just told them they didn't deserve a house of that type because of who they were. You see what I'm saying? And blatantly said that to them. But that individual, we send out the door. We send him out the door. He is no longer a county councilman. And that's the bank that he works in that did that. So, we have to be careful where we go and where we walk into. People that smile with you because you got money, when you walk out the door, all they want is your money.
That's exactly right. So, talking about a living wage, we're going to segue over into the next topic, which is, uh, excuse me, school board elections. Um, those who have filed, and now that's something that we're going to be you're going to need to investigate And I'm very hopeful that, we can have some forums to speak with these officials to see who they are, see what their platform is. Um, because a few of them do not need to be in a seat, point blank. No experience with children, no experience with with dealing with the school district at all. Please talk about that.
Well, right now you have only one contender that's going uncontested. That's Keith Moore in District 7. But you have board members Kathy Fadon Anderson. You have Michael Farrow joined in the at-large race by Brian J. Miller and Robert Cox. They both of Georgetown also. So those are the at-large seat. Those seats are obtained right now by Kathy Fadon Anderson, who won in a special election due to the retirement of Mr. Jim Dunn, early retirement or resignation, and Mike Cafaro, who was a former principal at Georgetown High School, who is also in this race right now. You have Scott DuBose. He's a retired management consultant. He ran unsuccessfully for the last seat, currently occupied by Kathy Fadon Anderson. So he is challenging in District 6, Lynn Ford, who was in District 2, who's in District 2 race. Lynn Ford used to be in District 6, but due to the redistricting, she's in District 2 now. But Ford will rezone to District 2 with the county most recent round of redistricting. So that's how those things set up. But Keith Moore, again, he's uncontested in District 7, which is very interesting, which is held by Dr. Arthur Lance right now, which is a crucial board member because he's the chairman of the board right now. And we're dealing with a lot of issues that really going to need a lot of attention consistently. And we need people that consistently knows what they're doing on the school board, not come on there with the perspective that I'm a businessman and we need a businessman on the board because that will balance things. We're not looking at the bank here. We're looking at our children in the school district. But we will definitely be having some forums coming up in the near future within the month of September and maybe October also in the school board race, because that is a crucial race. County council race, you have a crucial race there also, but those are sectional race. But this county-wide race right now is that school board race. That has our attention to the fullest because we are consistently dealing with discriminatory practices. We're dealing with all kind of practices, low wages. We're dealing with a shortage of minority teachers and staff. Some schools have no blacks in the school, period. Whether it's teachers, staff, whatever, have none, and had the opportunity to bring on a black on the assistant principal side, but choose not to. And the same person went to Andrews and got accepted into the same school with the same job description as it went to in the Walkmore school. So it tells a story that our practices of discrimination has not went anywhere. It just became more camouflage, with the necktie. That's all it did. We put a necktie on now, and it's just a different story.
Yeah, definitely have to pay attention to that. So just look forward to the upcoming news and information about the school board elections. Learn who these people are and don't vote for them just because you know them or you got a flyer card and they'll say vote for me. You need to understand who they are and how and if they will even benefit the community. And another thing I want to say is don't feel like just because you don't have kids in the school district that you don't need to vote or you don't need to care about who that particular person or those persons are. It matters. I promise you it matters. Because let me tell you why. You think you don't have any kids in the school district right now. These same kids that are coming through the district going to be the same people that are going to have to take care of you. And that's important. All of it's connected. So just keep that in mind. And the last topic, Mr. Neal, that we want to talk about, and this one.
One more thing, Ebony. There's one more race there in the city. That city council race is coming up, and that filing is on the 1st of September. And we definitely need to pay attention to that race also. because that's a critical race with all the price hike in utilities and stuff of that nature in the city and the tax hike and stuff. That's another crucial race we have to pay attention to because that seat was held by Al Joseph, which he resigned last month to take an appointed position at the city. I said appointed position also because it was definitely was not advertised as a job. So it was appointed to him by the mayor. I guess he ran as a Democrat, but I don't know what he is right now, but he has the job. So we got to be careful because elections have consequences.
Yes, elections do have consequences, and I don't want to go backwards because I try to stay quiet during this whole segment. But
Why
man,
you want to do that?
this upcoming school board election is of such consequence. Let me tell y'all something. We have a superintendent right now that is operating seemingly with untethered authority to do whatever he wants in that school district. It's as if everyone that works on the school board works for him. That serves on the school board works for the superintendent, as opposed to the school board having oversight over the superintendent and those on his staff. So we have to be very careful who we elect and who we put in those roles to serve us. Because many times what we find is that they do not serve the interest of all people. They serve the interest of themselves many times and the interest of a certain population of our county. So make sure that you do your research and you find out who these people are. And you make sure that you elect someone that's going to hold this superintendent accountable.
That's a question need to
Very
come
well
out.
stated,
I
Deontay.
lost focus for a while. I was dealing with business and I was trying to get myself together. But let me tell you something, man. Something happened recently that got me motivated. And I am ready to affect positive change in the scope of what's going on there at that school district. How Usher say? Watch this. I'm in it. I'm
No,
in it. I'm in it.
bring it.
It's time. It's things got to change. Things
And
have
that's
to
so
change for
important
the
too.
better.
It has to change. There's so much okey doke going on with this stuff right now, and I'm just praying that it gets better. But once you get through praying, we got to get off our knees and do something about it.
Right.
Because nothing change unless you push.
Oh yeah.
That's
Right.
the bottom line.
I mean, that even the scriptures say faith without works is dead. You're gonna have to work. You have to put something into motion in order for something to come out of it. So
Listen,
point
man,
well
we all
taken.
got to, as we always say, we are stronger together. So we got to all rally together and get behind this cause to do right by the children and the staff there in Georgetown County School District. Because right now they are under what is seemingly,
They are attacked.
yeah,
It's an attack. It really is. You
Like,
know,
especially black leaders, black principals, black teachers.
it's a
You know,
dictatorship.
there's so much injustice going on with it. And I don't care how they put it and what measures they say they're using. But you could always use when in the hiring scheme and stuff, you could always use the term that they just didn't interview well. What the hell that got to do with a person that's been
And they're gonna use that because that's the only thing that's subjective. Everything else is objective. When you look at a paper and you look at qualifications, you can tell who's superior and who's not. So when they want to pull the okey doke, the first thing they're gonna call out is an interview.
exactly. Exactly.
And even if that is the case, even if the individual did in fact interview just a little bit worse than somebody else, but that person has more qualifications, that simply means this person can BS a little bit better. That don't mean they can do a better job. So what are we doing?
That's
We
exactly
hiring the people that talk the best game as opposed to the people that have shown time and time again that they can do the job.
facts. And we want to thank so much for Miss McLean coming on today and watching and soaking up this information. We have our first VP, Mr. Deontay Winchester, here. He is talking about the consequences of elections and why it's so important, and him getting pumped up and excited, not excited, but motivated about being more aware and creating a positive impact, and especially in school board elections.
Oh yeah,
Anything else?
we just got to get involved, man, because some of the leadership that we have in the school district right now is just trifling, man. Just trifling. And I don't have to lay everything out because I don't want to make this thing seem personal, but please, if you can and you will, start coming to these school board meetings and learn about some of the things that are going on. And if you see something that you don't appreciate, speak out. Say something. The NAACP can't be the only ones out there speaking for the whole population because it's strength in numbers. If nobody says nothing and we don't stand up collectively, they will think that there's no issue. So
That's right.
when we stand up collectively and we say this ain't right, that's when change will come. And
Silence is
change is
consent.
overdue at this point.
Let me tell you something. When you see something wrong and you don't say something or speak up, or even if it means I don't know how to speak up to sign a petition, if there's even a petition out there, whatever way that you can speak up, it doesn't have to necessarily be through your voice. It could be through volunteer. It could be through their different ways of making a better or positive impact. Whatever that looks like, do it.
Yeah.
Do it, because silence is consent. If you see something wrong, you're also held accountable for those things slipping underneath the cracks and happening to people. I think we
Accountability
got
is a
Mr.
hell of a
Neal.
word. Accountability is definitely something lacking in a lot of places in our county, especially in that school district. When you have an individual at the top of the school district who has decided not to allow a grievance because it speaks towards him and his wrongdoings. That's a dictatorship.
Facts, facts. Now, let's see. This next topic, I really want Mr. Neal to come in here hard about this, because this is something that we've learned about here over the past couple of days. Mr. Neal, can you speak to this situation going on here in Georgetown? It's going on everywhere, but specifically in Georgetown.
One thing about this situation, Devin, is that we have found that if we, and I found out the last minute on the situation of anti-Semitism in the Jewish community, and it just didn't happen with the Jewish community. If you could think back when Donald Trump took office and the attack that he had on the Islamic communities by putting the ball on Islamics coming to America and stuff this way. So now it's the Jewish community, where the anti-Semitism and the hate messages coming out in the Asian community. Right? But the Jewish community is the one that hits hard right now in Georgetown, with all the hate messages posted in different areas of Georgetown and the Myrtle Beach area, just Horry County area. So what happened? There was a gathering the other night just talking about it. Some folks came out of Charleston, just started explaining what was going on. And if I were to close my eyes, and if they did not say Jewish FD, I would have think they were talking about African American and them coming through the challenges that they have had with being an enslaved people. It's the same thing. This haven't just started. This started ever since right back again. President Trump was in office with the Ukrainian. He just shutting off Ukrainian and shutting them down and putting Russia against us, pulling out the diplomatics and stuff out of there to make sure the communication stopped. All these things were happening at the same time. So it's a consistent, election consequences that we are dealing with, and it's the impact of it. It's the impact. If you don't have someone in these positions that look at all people and not dehumanize them as a people, then you're going to have problems, or we're going to end up back into a civil war. We no longer have to talk about it as a civil law of privilege. One election will decide that. And I think that's the one that's coming up right now. This 2020, 2022, and 2024 election. That will be the deciding factor how things are going because the civil war is going on. It started with the police department, and now that same group is attacking the FBI, the police department. So I guess at some point, like you said earlier, the Blue Lives Matter, but when they find nuclear secrets and top secrets at the ex president's place of living, then it don't matter anymore. It's amazing. And see, that is the inconsistency that we have. But one thing is consistent that voting for the right person or not voting at all have consequences. So we have to vote for change.
Blue lives matter until a barrier is being broken down in DC and they're being beat to death.
Yeah.
No one matters then.
Meet with fire extinguishers and flag poles and stuff. And talk, but they're just exercising their right as a person. You're not exercising your rights when you're kneeling on folks' neck, when you're slamming folks' head into a door. You have policemen committing suicide after such attack. After such attack, black officers during that time were being called nigger while they was walking through the assembly there. You know, King Mike Pence. You know, this is what it leads up to right back again, a dictatorship, a dictator style person that was running the operation. You packing up top secret, nuclear secret to do what with it? Take it to his place just to look at? No, there was another opportunity that might have been already available or was going to come available. Everybody just walking through the place, having parties and everything else. So talk about he was just protecting it. We don't need to take this place to protect it. That's the problem we have. America wasn't protected when he was the president.
This is true. Ms. Neal, is there anything else that we have in regard to announcements or community events?
Well, one thing, I think everyone need to make it a point, black, white, everyone, to get into the school district and check on their children. Make it a point to check on their children. That is the most crucial thing we can do right now is check on our children. Don't just send them to school. Be a part of the school. Be a part of the PTO. Be a part of the school improvement council. Be a part of the track team, the soccer team, the baseball team, football team, basketball team. Be a part of that because that's what's going to make the difference in how America looks in the future. You know, it's not what we do in the moment, it's what we're doing for what's going to happen down the road. So, and that is impact. My baby is 30, and I've been a part of the school system from the time I joined the military up until now. And Emily will tell you that we walk into these school improvement meetings, walk into the mentors meetings and stuff of that nature, and it's so needed. 5 minutes. Some of us waiting on a group to start to do mentorship. It don't need a group. Just walk in and have a conversation with these young men and young ladies in the schools. And don't have a separate conversation because they're black or white. It needs to have a conversation where they're all there to bring that understanding so we can erase this myth about critical race theory and these racist older white folks, supremacists that's sitting out there talking about critical race theory and kicking books out of the school system. Those are historical documents. It's like getting rid of the Constitution. The Constitution was racist up until the 13th Amendment. It wasn't built for us. It was built against us. So what are they talking about now? If you haven't noticed, they're trying to change the Constitution too. Abortion rights, everything else go out the door. Voting rights go out the door. Those are all the things that brought us into the play. So we better pay attention and know that election has consequences and know who you're voting for.
That was pretty powerful. It felt like a benediction, really. But everything that you just said, we can almost close out on that because it's so vitally important that you participate. You know, it's all kind of things going on. You got where the school district wouldn't put the picture up in the yearbook of students in the LGBTQ community. I mean,
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense.
yeah. It was in Walkmore High School. We need to call it what it is. Baltimore High School. That's where it was at. But I wonder what type of climate survey is being done there, or what type of school improvement plan is being done there. You know what I'm saying? You go to these minority schools, minority principals in it. Well, there's a school improvement, but there's a climate survey every time something moves, and they don't have to do anything to get a climate survey. If that one don't work, well, we'll find something else to put in the survey. We'll take these things out because we lied about that, and we'll find something else to put in there. So what does that tell you? It's called conspiring. Conspiring. That's what it's called. It's called harassment. It's called discrimination. It's called racial discrimination. That's what it boils down to. We have to be so careful because it just don't happen to black folks. It happened to white folks too. That's less fortunate. LGBTQ, Jewish community and stuff of that nature. It's just not the black community. It's the Jewish community, it's the Islamic community, it's all the community other than white community. And some whites are getting it too because they're LGBTQ. So what do? We fight with them too. We don't have a problem with that because discrimination of any kind is discrimination of all kinds. It affects all of us. That's the way we roll.
Thank you so much. And for those of you who have joined us on today's spotlight, we appreciate you so much. Again, remember to give us a thumbs up, give us a heart emoji, whatever. Send us some love out here. Post in the comment section to let us know that you're with us. But please make sure to join us next week, same time, same place, 11 o'clock next Saturday, where second VP, Miss Marilyn Hemingway, she will be here to host that show and bring us the information for that week. So with that said, we thank you.
Real quick, Ebony, I know we're trying to close. 2 minutes. Please, people, please stop letting individuals overdiagnose our children. And what I mean by that, what I see time and time again in my practice is that little black boys are misdiagnosed with ADHD and over medicated when they do not need it. Time and time again, I see this. So, if you are in a situation when someone has diagnosed your child with ADHD, simply find a second opinion. Preferably find someone who is culturally competent and understands all aspects of what your child is experiencing. That's all I ask. Because otherwise, the child will not benefit from that treatment. And in many cases, it's harmful. So please, do what we can to make sure that our children are taken care of. I love you all. Continue to love yourselves.
Yes, Mr. Neal.
See you at the next school board meeting.
School board meeting. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.